Welcome to the Online Entrepreneur Experience podcast that details the ins and outs, the how-tos, and the ups and downs of living a life of an online business owner.
What's going on, guys? Kell, Mark Wilson from digitalfreedommovement.com on today's podcast. This is podcast number 11, Mark?
11, bro. In the double digits.
Double digits. On today's podcast, we're going to talk about playing by your own rules. What are the rules? What does that mean? And how do you do it? So, what are some of the rules, Mark, that you can think of that are created since like birth?
Well, like society says that we should, be nice human beings, be gracious to each other, do unto others what they do unto us. Attend school every time, show up to work on time, work a job.
And go to college and buy a house and have a family, and that's the way life should be. But
yeah, I mean, it all makes sense. It should just like automatically just streamline happen, right?
Yeah, but everybody's different, right? I'm built different. Mark's built different.
He's built different.
Actually, have you seen that viral video where he cracks?
Yeah, where he's like crashes there.
I have a video. I'm gonna put it in the next edit where I'm like trying to break it, it wouldn't break, and then the last one I did, it just exploded all over my wall. Anyways, back on topic. Like I said, we're all kind of built different. We all think differently, and we're all different individuals. So who has the right to say this is the way that you should live your life, right? So Mark and I were kind of brought up the same way. My parents said the same thing: go to school. I started mechanical. They say get a ticket, yada yada yada. But I was always the type of kid that didn't like rules. I was a bit of a rebel. I wanted to do what I wanted. I wanted to skip school like most kids do. And I think that followed me into my adulthood, after, being or working 8 to 10 hours a day. And, I didn't necessarily hate the work, but I hate what it did to my life and to my routine. And I hated the lack of control that I had in my life. I wanted to, as this podcast is called, I wanted to play by my own rules. I wanted to do what I wanted when I wanted, period. And the shitty reality is that no job will ever give you or allow you rather to play by your own rules, right? Because you are forced to be at a specific place at a specific time to make a specific wage. You are told by your boss what your time is worth and what you're worth as an individual. And I think that's fucking stupid.
Somebody else is running your life for you, without your control, and essentially with minimal consent, right? Like it's just like, okay, well, I guess you feel like you have to because those are the rules, right? But you have to show up for work so you can get paid and so you can pay your bills, all that kind of stuff, right? And in the end of the day, if that's not what you want to do, if that's not concisive and conducive to what you really want to, how you want to live your life, it's about having that CEO mentality of taking control of it. Is that easy? Most times not. It's because you're not playing by other people's rules, and the society and the world is all set up to play by these rules, right? So it's easy to go to a job every single day. It's easy to do what you're told by your boss. It's easy to go home at the end of the night and then just hit that repeat button and live within your means, right? Like all that stuff is easy, essentially, right?
But you got to think, like, a lot of people decide to go with that route because, as Mark said 18 friggin' times, it's easy. And people think that there's security and guarantee in their wage. And I think a lot of you guys out there know now that that's just simply not the case. Look at what happened with COVID, right? Actually, I'm not supposed to say that. It's going to mangle the algorithm. And then that's a bloop it out, Mark.
Beep.
It's simply not the case. There's no such thing as job security. You can be fired, or you can break your legs, or something bad could happen at any moment in time, in which case you are screwed, right? And so the only way to have true control and to play by your own rules is to own your own business. Now, there are a lot of successful business owners out there that have a lot of control, but do they have full control, right? It takes a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of money, and a hell of a lot of makes you very, very stressful when you have a high overhead. So maybe you rent a building, it's $20,000-$30,000 a month. If you have inadequate business, then you're going in the hole. You have employees that don't show up for work. I know a lot of my buddies own businesses and have employees, and these employees do not show up. It's hard to find good workers out there today. So, with all of that being said, are those particular business owners, are they playing by their own rules? I would say probably more than the 9-to-5 employee, but they're still not able to fully play by their own rules.
No, 100%, because rent can change at any point in time, right? The lease, once it's up, like you have an established business, you've been doing it for 5 years, you have a 5-year lease, the guy can jack up your rent all of a sudden that owns the building. You're playing by his rules when it comes to rent, right?
That's exactly it. And I looked into all these things because I was going to start a mobile repair company. I was going to start my own brick and mortar business. And I realized that it wasn't worth it for that amount of stress, for the amount of pay that I would be receiving. Like, I probably would have made a lot of money as a mobile repair guy or mechanic. But I still didn't want to, be an employee for myself for years and years and years and years until I had enough enough contracts to the point where I could afford to buy more trucks, more tools, and hire more employees. So, point of this topic here is that's the biggest reason on why I decided to go online versus brick and mortar business. Like Mark and I now, we have like a 4-hour work week, guys. We're about a typical week is about 4 hours, guys. To make
this podcast is about a quarter of our work week right here.
It actually is. That's a big workload, like a lot of work. So yeah, like I don't say that to brag. I say that just to show you guys what is possible when you stop trading your time to make money. And by no means was it easy for Mark and I to get to where we are today, but it was fucking worth it, I'd say.
Oh, 1,000 times worth it, man. Like I couldn't imagine what my life would have been like over the last couple of years if I didn't have the freedoms that I do, that I could focus on my children when the world went to crap and whatnot, and be able to show up for my family the way that I needed to and not miss a beat with the amount of money that I make. Like I was talking to my mortgage broker this last week, and he was watching some of our videos and whatnot. And he's just like, yeah, like I believe fully into what you do, because he used to work for a mortgage brokerage company and then he expanded out on his own. And the reason why he did this is because he knew that if he wanted to work really hard and make a lot of money, he could. And if he didn't want to work really hard and just enjoy life, he didn't have to, but he set the parameters around his life. And I think that's just so huge and almost a surreal feeling when you actually have it. You know what I mean?
So I guess, at this point, are you happy doing what you're doing? Are you happy not playing by your own rules? Or if you're like Mark and I, and you strive for more control, what can you do today? What work can you put in today? What actions can you take today that will change that future for you tomorrow? Sometimes the road less traveled is a lot more difficult, but the juice is definitely worth the squeeze. So that's a decision that you need to make for yourself. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And if you guys have any questions or feedback, please do not hesitate to email us at info@digitalfreedommovement.com. Thanks guys for watching. See you on the next one.
Thanks for tuning into the Online Entrepreneur Experience. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes that we're releasing and any of these amazing pieces of value that we're giving out. And if you could take the time out of your day and leave us a review, we would be so grateful. We look forward to seeing you on that next episode.